Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the greatest boxer tournament in Title Bout II. I'm going to try to get at least one more, we're going to get at least one more bout in the tournament this month, before the month closes out. So here's a look at our current bracket. The last time in the tournament, Ivan Drago pulled off quite a shocker with a third round knockout over Clubber Lang. Rocky Marciano's waiting for him in the quarterfinals. We've got George Foreman in the tournament over Mike Tyson. Rocky Balboa advanced past Vladimir Klitschko. And the biggest shocker of the tournament so far, Ken Norton pulled off a 15-round upset over Muhammad Ali in the first round. And then Lennox Lewis is waiting for us in the quarterfinals as well. So we're going to go get Lennox Lewis an opponent tonight as we play out Buster Douglas versus Sonny Liston. With that, let's go meet our two fighters. John Cena will be representing Sonny Liston in this bout, so we'll take a look at his card. 9 overall rating, he can be either style. He takes control on a 9 or an 11, depending on if he's against a boxer or slugger. 8 aggressiveness, 10 killer instinct, 85 endurance, foul rating of C, 2 defense, KD rating was 1 and 2 of 1 and 1, knockout of 2, cut of 5 and cut of 2, and counterpunch rating of 5. You can see all his actions there. You can pause that to read the card. With that, we'll move Liston into the ring, and we'll go through Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas is being represented by Roman Reigns, so we'll take a look at his card. Overall rating of 6. He's a boxer. Takes control on a 9 or a 9. 7 aggressiveness, 7 killer instinct, 80 endurance, foul rating of a B. Defense rating of 4, KD 1 and 2 of 2 and 4, knockout of 9, cut of 7, and counterpunch of 2. This seems like it's going to be a short bout looking at the stats. So let's move Buster Douglas into the ring and we'll join them over there. The last thing we need before we start is a referee. So we'll give this a quick shuffle. Oop, without that card in it. Give these a crappy shuffle. I'm probably going to sleeve these at some point as well. And a cut. And we'll give this a try as our first referee. So our first attempted referee is going to be Valdemar Schmidt, who's very lenient, available on a 1 to 60. So that'll bring us into this bout. We need a random number here to see if he's available. Special, we'll draw for another one. 29, he's available, so he's our referee. So, let me bring this card over here for a second. Valdemar Schmidt. Very lenient. He will check on 5th point deduction and disqualify on 6th. So 6th. Okay. I think we've got all that figured out. We'll put the referee back down over here. And then taking one final look at the camera, I think we're all set here. So let's get into this bout. And Liston will be our aggressor to start round 1. Liston can take on either style, so it doesn't really matter for him. He's going to box. And with that, there's the bell, so let's start round 1. Liston is our aggressor. He will start off with the first control check. With no control right away. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 33 will miss a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. The crowd at relay is getting a little bit restless. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control, Douglas. No control, Liston. No control. Did I put all the high cards in this deck? Douglas takes control finally. Lands a power shot, so Liston is a 1 against a 12, which brings us to our KD chart. So 12, 1 is 5 points to Buster Douglas. So that'll get him on the board first with 5 points. Liston seems to be awake right now. So back to Douglas we go, who loses control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control back. 11 lands a punch, and he will land. 39 is good for a 3-point cross. So so Buster Douglas is up to 8 points. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston takes control. 73 is ring movement, so we are moving nowhere. We're staying at ring center. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. 78 is more ring movement. Let's see where we're moving this time. Far ropes. Let me just double check who I had representing. I think I had Liston by Cena. Yes, okay. So now Liston's +1 to gaining control. And against a boxer, he needs a 10 now, which that will work. That's a 7. 19 is going to land a punch of his own. Liston will get on the board. 40 with a 3-point cross of his own. So Liston is now on the board with 3 points. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. 4 is going to land a power shot. Buster Douglas is a 2 against a 12. So 12, 2 is 5 points to Liston. So now we're all... Round is even up at 8. Each of our fighters has landed a power shot. Back to Liston we go once again, who stays in control. 74 is ring movement, so we are moving to the right neutral corner. Liston staying in control of the action. So back to him we go for the next control check. Stays in control. 52 is a clinch. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. Remember, he's +1 to his control checks right now. 25 lands a punch, and he'll hit 48. He'll hit a 2-point cross, so he'll take the lead with 10 points. So back to Liston we go, who stays in control. 32 lands a punch. 66 is good for a 2-point combination. So Liston going up to 12 points on the round. Back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas takes control. Lands another power shot. So Liston's still a 1 against a 15. 15-1 is going to be 5 points to Douglas, and then he's in control, right? 15 against a 1, 5H. Yes, he goes straight to the action check. So this will be 13 points for Douglas, and he goes straight to control on his next card here. So back to Douglas we go. 59 is going to be a clinch. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston takes control. Let's see what we get here. Injury. I will go to this deck to check for that, since we do have to resolve it. No injury, treat it as a break in the action, but that will treat it as more of a break because that's the end of round 1. So 13 to 12 in Douglas's favor. Where's my pen? Right here. So 12. I forgot to grab endurances at the start of the fight. 85. 80 for Douglas, and he scored 13 points on the round. Just going to do my math here. 68. And 72. All right, so Douglas actually won the round by 1, which means we have to ask the judges what they think of it. So toward the middle, we'll have our section for the judges, and they score this bout or this round high, even. So they will give the round to Douglas, surprisingly. Oh no! Oh yeah. Okay, so 2 of them scored for Douglas. The third one scores it even. So I'll get the decks shuffled up, and then we'll be ready to start round 2 with Douglas as our aggressor this time. Liston is going to continue to box against Douglas, and with that, there's the bell, so let's start round 2. Douglas is our aggressor, however. He starts off with no control. Liston takes control. 13 is going to land a punch, so Liston will get on the board with. A 68 will be good for a 2-point combination to start the round. So Liston gets on the board first with 2 points. Back to Liston we go. No control there. Douglas takes control. 15 is going to land a punch of his own. He will get on the board with 30 cut. 30 is a 2-point hook. So Douglas goes up to 2 points, and then we need to get a cut check for Liston. So 2 plus 10 is a 12. That's going to be no cut. Back to Douglas we go, who loses control. Liston will take it, landing a power shot. Oh boy. Let's see what we've got here. Douglas is a 2 against a 9. So 9-2. 5 points to Liston. I'm doing all my chart consulting off camera. So that brings Liston up to 7 points. He gets the next control check, which he will lose control. Douglas will take control. 50 is a clinch. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Crowd and Relay is getting restless. Liston takes control. Lands another power shot. Still a 2 against an 8. So 8 and 2 is another 4 points to Liston. So he goes up to 11 points in the round. This may be where Liston starts to take advantage. He uses his power to his advantage. Back to Liston we go. No control there. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. Special. Oh boy, so we got to read the text. The fighter loses his mouthpiece. The ref pauses the action to rinse and reinsert it. Immediately add +5 to each fighter's endurance. Alright, so 73 for Douglas. And 77 for Liston. Back to Douglas we go on the control check. Who keeps control. 39 into a missed punch, no counter punch. Actually, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40. So yeah, no counterpunch. Just had to subtract 5. Back to Douglas we go, who stays in control. 10 is going to land a punch, and Douglas will land 1 point partially blocked. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 6 is going to land a punch. I was getting excited because I thought that would be a power shot, but it's not. Douglas has very low power. 75, though, is good for a 2-point uppercut, which will bring Douglas up to 5 points on the round. So staying with Douglas, he stays in control. 3 is a power shot, however. Liston's a 1 against a 19. 1 against a 19. Okay, so he scores 6 points plus a knockdown. So 6 points to Douglas brings him up to 11 points, which ties the round with... which ties him on the round. Then we need to get a... what do we need to get? On a 1 to 10, score 6 points plus a knockdown, full killer instinct. Well, either way, he's scoring 6 points anyway. So now we need a... I think we need a KD, another KD number. So on a 1 to 10, score 6 points and a knockdown and full killer instinct. So our KD number here is a 2. So we're scoring 6 points, the knockdown and full killer instinct. So for Douglas, that is 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so Douglas is going on killer instinct here. I'm gonna pause that. I'm going to kill that. That was my timer going off. So back to Douglas we go. 48 will be a clinch. Then 70 is ring movement, so we are moving to the far ropes. And we're still with Douglas here. 12 is going to be landing a punch, and he will land. 29 will be good for a 2-point hook, which will bring him up to 13 points. All right, back to Liston, or back to Douglas we go. We're still on killer instinct. 28 is going to land another punch, and he will land. 62 will be good for a another 2-point combination. So that'll bring Douglas up to 15 points on the round. So back to Douglas we go with the control check. He's +1, which that'll be enough to take control anyway. 58 is a clinch. Last card of the round going to Douglas. He would take control, but that's the end of round 2. So 15 points for Douglas to 11 for Liston. Whoop. If I put it in the right place. 28, 23. We'll do a little math here. 27, 62, 11, 60. Oh, so we're even Steven at 62. Because Douglas won the round by 4, we have to see how the judges are scoring it. So the judges are scoring it. Even high. So 10-10. Douglas actually did win the round again. If only on one judge's scorecard. So with that, I'm going to get the decks reset, and then we'll be back for round 3, where Douglas will continue to be our aggressor. Liston is going to continue to box against Douglas because nothing else makes sense for him, and there's the bell. Let's start round 2. Douglas is still our aggressor. He's surprisingly hanging tough against Liston. So Douglas is coming out with no control. Liston takes control. Let's see what Liston's doing. 70 is ring movement, so where are we moving? We are moving to the far ropes. And now Liston's a +1 to take control. Yep. No control there. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. What is he doing? 69 is ring movement, so where are we moving? We are moving back to ring center. That was probably dumb, Sonny, but nothing we can do about that right now. So back to Liston we go, who's now -1, so he's back to being a 9. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Relay's getting restless once again, guys. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 12 is going to land a punch just out of power shot range, but Liston will get on the board with. 70, he'll get on the board with a 3-point uppercut, so that'll bring him up to 3 points on the round. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. 13 is going to land another punch, so he will land. 64 is good for a 2-point combination, so Liston is up to 5 points on the round. So back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas takes control. 47 is going to clinch. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 4 is right at the top of his range, but he gets a power shot off. Liston's a 1 against a 16. 16-1. 5 points to Douglas, and he stays in control for the next control check. So that'll bring us up to an even round at 5 points. So back to Douglas we go for the control action. 76 is ring movement, so we are moving nowhere. We're staying at ring center. Back to Douglas we go. Stays in control. Foul. Uh-oh. He's a B against a 26. I'm pretty sure that will get waved off. Yes, it will. All right, back to Douglas we go, who stays in control. 35 is a missed punch, no counter punch. Back to Douglas. Stays in control. 14 is going to land a punch, so Douglas will take the lead with a 9, a 2-point jab. So that'll bring Douglas up to 7 points on the round. Back to Douglas we go, who loses control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control back. 10 is going to land another punch, and Douglas will land. 24 is good for a 3-point hook, so that'll bring Douglas up to 10 points on the bout. Back to Douglas we go, who stays in control. 12 is going to land another punch, and he will land. 22 is a 3-point hook, so Douglas is up to 13 points. All right, still with Douglas on the control check, who stays in control. This round's been pretty much all Buster Douglas. 56 is going to be a clinch. Douglas stays in control. 60 turns into another clinch. Douglas stays in control. 38 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch, and that's the end of round 3. Let's see, so Douglas picked up 13 points, which brings him up to 41 on the round. Liston picked up 5, 28, so I'm going to do my math here, 57 for Douglas remaining, 13 is 49. And by an 8-point differential, no. High score actually wins the round 10-9. So Douglas takes another round. He is hanging. Buster Douglas is hanging tough so far in a fight where I was expecting power to carry the day. But I'll go ahead and get the scores reset. And then Douglas will once again be our aggressor. Liston seems to be unnerved by the crowd here in Relay, but he's going to continue boxing, and there's the bell to start round 4. So over to Douglas we go for the first control check. He loses control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 18 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 18 cut, so 18 is good for a 2-point jab. And then Liston's a 2+, 73. This could be significant. 75, which gives us a major cut over the right eye. Major cut, what did we say? Over right eye. Alright, so with that major cut, this is actually Liston who's eating this cut. Right, yes. So Liston actually. Bring that note up. Alright, so Liston's getting a lot of changes here. So he's going -1 control factor, -3 defense, so his defense is now going to be very terrible. And -2 on his punches landed range. Okay, that's not great for him, and that's going to be worth, yikes, 5 cut points for... That's 5 cut points for potentially stopping the bout, but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves there. So, I believe that was from that deck. So we're back to Douglas on our next control check, who loses control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 31 misses a punch, no counter punch. Back to Douglas we go, who stays in control. 11's going to land another punch, and he will land 64 with another cut. So 64 is a 2-point combination. We had a huge number for Liston last time. Let's see what this one is. He's a 2+. And 11's a 13. That should be no cut. No cut. Lucky for Liston after that last bit of damage. So Douglas, no control. Liston takes control. 40 is going to be a missed punch, no counter punch. Back to Liston we go. 6 is enough to keep control, even through the -1 on control factor. He would need an 8 right now to take control, but a 6 is good enough for that. 65 is ring movement, so we are moving. Staying in ring center. Back to Liston we go. 18 is definitely no control. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 21 lands a punch, and he will land 1 point partially blocked, so that'll bring Douglas up to 5 points. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston takes control. 64 is ring movement, so we are moving to the far ropes. Now Liston's back to his normal 9 now that he's got Douglas back up against the ropes. No control there, though. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. 6 lands a punch, and he will land. 52 is good for a 2-point cross. So that'll bring Douglas up to 7 points. Not a very exciting, not a very high-scoring round for sure from the looks of it. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control since he is back to his normal 9 thanks to having Douglas on the ropes. 27 is going to land a punch of his own. This is very welcome. He will finally get on the board with. 63 is a 3-point combination. He needed that badly. He took that cut early in the round, so back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. If I can ever get the card picked up, there we go. No control. Douglas. No control. That's the end of the round. All right, 3 points for Liston. 7 for Douglas. 48. 31. All right, 42 and 54. Since the difference is only 4 points, we do have to see how the judges scored the round. So they are scoring it. Low, high, high. So Douglas will take yet another round. Okay, let me do this right. 9, 10, 10, 10, 9, 9. Douglas is hanging a lot tougher than I thought he would as I was looking at the initial breakdown of this fight. So I will get the decks reset and we'll be back to round 5, where Buster Douglas, yet again, will start the round as our aggressor. I keep waiting for Liston to drop the hammer on Douglas, but he doesn't seem to want to tonight. Anyway, Liston is going to continue boxing against Douglas, and there's the bell. Let's start round 5. Douglas is once again our aggressor. He will start with control. 31 is a missed punch, no counterpunch. Back to Douglas we go. 56 is a clinch. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. 43 is a missed punch. Liston can try to counterpunch. 15 will let him counterpunch and he will land. 23 will land a 3-point hook for a counterpunch. So over to Liston for our control check. He needs an 8 to take control, which that is definitely not. Douglas takes control. 37, missed punch, no counterpunch. Back over to Douglas, who stays in control. 47 is a clinch. Douglas stays in control. 39 misses a punch, no counter punch. Back to Douglas. Actually, what did we say? 44, so 3, 2, 1, 40, 39. Actually, Liston could try to counter punch here. I can't math, apparently. Which a 10 will be a power shot for him. So Douglas is a 2 against a 10. So 10, 2 is 5 points to Liston. He's doing a lot with counterpunching this round. Back to Liston we go. Who will not get control. Douglas will take it. 11 will land a punch, and he will land 51 cut. So 51 is a 51's good for a 2-point cross. And we remember Liston took a nasty cut. Was it 2? Last round he actually took that nasty cut over his right eye. So he's a 2 plus. A 16 is an 18, which should be no cut. Yep, no cut. All right, back to Douglas we go. Who stays in control. 44 is a missed punch. Liston can try to counter punch. 27 is minus 2 punches landed, but this is still high enough to land a punch. So Liston will pick up. 52 is a 2-point cross for another 2 points. So up to 10. Over to Liston we go. Who takes control. 45 is a missed punch. Douglas can try to counter punch. Which a 29 will do. Actually 29, yeah, that'll work for Douglas, so he will land. 53 is a 2-point cross, so that'll bring Douglas up to 4 points. All right, over to Douglas we go. Who stays in control. 53 is a clinch. Douglas, no control. Liston takes control. 68 is ring movement, so we are moving. Nowhere, we're staying ring center. Back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas takes control back. 64 is ring movement, so we are moving to the far corner. So now Douglas is a +1 on the control check. Oop. Move them back a little bit. So Douglas needs a 10 to take control, which he gets. That's a 9, so we would have taken it naturally. 11's going to land another punch, and he will land. 78 will be good for a 2-point uppercut. So that'll bring Douglas up to 6 points on the round. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control back. Special. What do we have here? We have nothing special, just a break in the action. That's the end of the round. So Liston scores 10 points to Douglas's 6. Let's see, that's going to turn into 36 and 44. Liston won the round by 4, but let's see how the judges see it. They score it even high. So Liston actually picks up his first win of the bout. Even high, okay? So Liston will pick up his first win of the bout. First one round of the bout. I'll get the decks reset, and then when we come back, Liston will be our aggressor to start round 6. I'm very surprised Liston's power edge hasn't come out to play yet, but he's going to continue to box against Douglas, and there's the bell. Let's start round 6. So Liston gets our first control check. He will start without control, because remember, he's an 8 to take control. Douglas, no control. Liston takes control. 11 is right outside of power shot range, but that's enough to land a punch, and he will land 69 for a 3-point uppercut. So Liston getting on the board right away with 3 points. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. 76 is ring movement, so we are moving to the near corner. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. Remember, he's +1 because he's got Douglas up against the ropes. 14 is going to land another punch, and he will pick up a 13 for a 2-point jab. So he's up to 5 points. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control once more. 7 is going to land a power shot. So Douglas is a 2 against a 9. 9 and a 2 is 5 more points to Liston. So he goes up to 10 points on the round. Come on, there we go. All right, 10 points to, oh, here it is. So 10 points back to Liston. And back we go for the next control check. He will lose control. Douglas will take control back. He wants to get out of this corner if he can. He'll land a power shot, which will be helpful. Liston's a 1 against a 1, which will just be 4 points to Douglas. So he gets on the board with his own power shot. All right, back to Douglas we go, who stays in control. 61 is ring movement, so we are moving back to ring center, so that at least gets Douglas out of the corner. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston takes control. 50 is a clinch. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. 1 is another power shot. Douglas is still a 2 against a 2. That'll be another 4 points to Liston, bringing him up to 14 points on the round. Liston's power may be starting to come out to play here. Back to Liston we go. No control, though. Douglas takes control. 10 is going to land another punch, and he will land 19 is good for a 2-point jab, which will bring him up to 6 points. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 2 is a power shot. Still a 2 against a 19. Let's see, 2. So a 19 against a 2. we need to get another knockdown rating. So on a 1 to 10, that'll be a KD number. 6 points plus a knockdown and full killer instinct. All right, so we get a knockdown rating. So that'll be off of this card. We find a 10. So Liston's going to pick up another 6 points. Scoring a knockdown. And we get full killer instinct for Liston, which is 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are at 20 points for Liston, so now we need to be aware of the possibility of a TKO. Let's see what we're starting with here for Liston, though. We are starting off 20 with a punch, with a landed punch, where you're landing. 59 is going to be a 3-point combination. Okay, next card up on Killer Instinct. 46 is a missed punch. Douglas can try to counter punch. 51 won't do it, though. Back to Liston we go. 42 is a missed punch. Douglas cannot try to counter punch off of that. Next up, an injury, which we don't check during Killer Instinct. 12 is going to be another punch. He will land. 25 is going to be good for a 3-point hook, so that'll bring Liston up to 26 points. And now we need to be careful, because now a power shot would just end the fight. 72 is ring movement, so we are moving. Staying in ring center. So that's the end of Liston's Killer Instinct. We need to watch out for a power shot. We're back to Liston, who takes control. Foul. Uh-oh, he's a C against a 71 minus 10, because we're against with a very lenient referee. Is a 61, so he's going to gesture to the forehead, don't lead with the head. Back to Liston we go, who loses control. Douglas will take control, but that's the end of round 6. 26 points for Liston, who needed a huge round. To 6 for Douglas. So 60 and 67. Do a little math here. 26 from 44 is 18 and 30. And I'm pretty sure with 20 points, yeah, Liston will pick up, and he had a knockdown actually, so he automatically wins the round 10-8 anyway. I mean, you wonder if Liston might have just had enough, might be just at a point where he's had enough of relay. But with that, we're going to get the decks reset, and then we're going to start into round 7, where Liston will still be our aggressor. We definitely need to be aware of a 2-round point total TKO for Liston, because he scored 26 points last round. Another 24 points will do it here. Liston is going to continue to box, and he'll be our aggressor, so there's the bell. Let's start round 7. Liston will start it off with control, his first action of the round. 62 is ring movement, so we are moving. Staying in ring center. Back to Liston we go, who stays in control. Oh, we got to check for carryover. I almost forgot about that. So, carryover. Let's see. Actually, no, we did have a knockdown, so it's a flash knockdown. We'll check for KD count of 1. So, random number here. 22, no carryover. Okay, almost forgot about that. So, back to Liston, who loses control. Douglas gets his first control check of the round. No control for him. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. This is back to Douglas. 12 is going to land a punch. Douglas will get on the board. 17 with a 2-point jab. So that'll bring Douglas up 2 points on the round. Back to Douglas we go. No control, Liston. No control, Douglas. Takes control back. 65 is ring movement, so we are moving to the near corner. This is Douglas still in control of things, right? Yes. So back to Douglas we go. No control, Liston. No control, Douglas. No control, even with the +1, Liston. No control, Douglas. Takes control. 78 is ring movement. We are moving to the left neutral corner. So Douglas is playing musical corners at this point. Back to Douglas on the control check we go. Who stays in control. 20 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 51 is good for a 2-point cross. So that's up to 2 points for Douglas. Back to Douglas we go. Who loses control, Liston. No control, Douglas. No control, Liston. Takes control. Landing a power shot. Douglas is a 2 against an 11. So 11-2, 5 points to Liston. He gets on the board. And then Liston gets the next control check. So back to this deck we go. No control, Douglas. Takes control because he's got Liston against the ropes. 14 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 18 is good for a 2-point jab. 6 points there. Back to Douglas we go. Who takes control. 23 is going to land another punch, and he will land. 1 point partially blocked. So I'll bring Douglas up to 7 points. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. Lands another power shot. Lands a power shot, so Liston's a 1 against a 5. 5-1, 4 points to Douglas, which brings him up to 11. Back to Douglas we go. Who stays in control. 54 is a clinch. Back to Douglas. Who loses control? Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control back. 72 is ring movement. We would be moving to back to ring center, which actually saves me a step because that's the end of round 7. So 5 points for Liston to 11 for Douglas. 71, 72, so 5, 13, 19. And since the round ended with Douglas winning by 6, we've got to ask the judges what they think. They're scoring at high, low, low, so they're giving the round to Liston, shockingly enough. So 10... Wait. They're going Okay, they're going high, low, low. So 10, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10. So yeah, they're giving the round to Liston. We'll come back in a second with round 8, where Liston will once again be our aggressor. Liston had the fight in the palm of his hand last round, but he couldn't make the fist and close it out. Anyway, he's going to box going to round 8, and he's our aggressor, so there's the bell, and let's start round 8. So Liston will start it off with control. Moving around the ring, so where are we moving? We are moving. Never mind, we're staying at ring center. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas. No control either. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. 17 is going to land a punch. Douglas will get on the board with a 78, which is a 2-point uppercut. So Douglas is on the board with 2 points. Back to Douglas we go on the control check, who loses control. Liston takes it. Right outside of power shot range, but he'll land a punch, and he'll get on the board with 76 is a 2-point uppercut. So we're 2-all on the round. Liston up next. Back to Liston. He loses control. Douglas takes control. 44 misses a punch. Liston can try to counterpunch. 12 will, and he will land. A 10 is a 3-point jab, so Liston will go up to 5 points. Over to Liston we go on the next control check. He will take control. 59 is a clinch. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 46 is a clinch. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 34 misses a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. Foul. He's a B against a 26 minus 10 is a 16. That'll get waved off. I'm not going to bother to look. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 13 lands a punch. He will land. 11 is going to be good for another 2-point jab, so Liston up to 7 points. Back to Liston with the control check. Stays in control. 50 is a clinch. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 30 lands a punch, and he will land. 1 point partially blocked. Up to 3 points. Douglas takes control, stays in control. 7 lands a punch, and he will land. 25 is good for a 3-point hook, so that'll bring Douglas up to 6 points. Douglas stays in control. 12 lands another punch, and he will land. 61 will be good for a 2-point combination, which will bring him up to 8 points. If the camera ever... There we go. The camera ever wants to focus. And that's the end of round 8. So 7 points for Liston. 8 for Douglas. 9 all. 8 from 19 is 11. 7 from 13 is 6. But with such a close fight, with such a close bout or round, we need to see what the judges think. They're scoring it. Low, low, low. So they're actually giving the round to Liston again. Because Liston was the low score that round. Liston is starting to stage a remarkable turnaround here. We'll get the decks ready once again, and then it'll be time for round 9, where Liston will once again be our aggressor. We're 4 rounds all on the fight. Liston will continue to be our aggressor. He will still box, and there's the bell. Let's start round 9. Liston is our aggressor. He will start with no control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Relay's getting restless once again. Douglas takes control. 46 is a clinch. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 11 just out of power shot range, but he lands a punch. He will land. 9 is a 3-point jab. So that will bring Liston up to 3 points. Back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas takes control. 70 is ring movement, so we are moving to the near ropes. Douglas will now be +1 once I get him turned around to his control checks. So Douglas will not get control. Liston won't either. Douglas, no control. Liston takes control. Injury. Uh-oh. What do we have here? Just as a break in the action. All right, back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 11 is just at the outside of power shot range once again, but he'll land another punch. 70 will be a 3-point uppercut. So Liston up to 6 points on the round. Back to Liston we go. Stays in control. 79 is ring movement, so we are moving. Back to ring center, so that at least gets us off the ropes. So back to Liston for the control check. Loses control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. Foul. He's a C against 47 minus 10 is 37. That will get waved off. Over to back to Liston, who stays in control. 56 is a clinch. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. Foul. He's a B against a 5. That's going to get waved off. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. Takes control. 76 is ring movement. We are moving to the far ropes. Liston is now not being knocked over along with Douglas. +1 to take control, so went back to his normal 9, which that won't work for Douglas. No control. There's the end of the round. So a complete shutout for Liston against Douglas. That's 85. 11 going into round 10. Douglas is now fatigued, but we got to ask the judges what they think of the round. They are scoring it low, high, high. So they're giving another round to Liston. So Judge 1 is going 10, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10. All right, I will get the decks reset. Then we'll be into round 10, where Liston will be our aggressor. Liston is still going to box as our aggressor, but before we get to that point, I do want to talk about Douglas, who is now fatigued. So his stats changed slightly. Now we're looking at this side. He still takes control on an, actually against a slugger. Liston may start slugging now that he's fatigued. Still an aggressiveness of 7. Killer instinct is now down to 5 for Douglas. Foul rating still a B. Defense is still 4. KD 1 is now up to a 3, which could have some impact. Knockout rating still a 9. Cut of 7. Counterpunch 2. So none of that changed. So yeah, I think Liston now is going to switch it up and start slugging against Douglas. With that, there's the bell, and we are into round 10. So actually, we'll bring them back to ring center, but we sounded the bell, so we're ready to start round 10. Liston will start with no control. Douglas now needs an 8 to take control since Liston's slugging, which that is a 2, so he will take control there. 19 is going to land a punch, and his power, and Douglas's power is down, so he's going to have a harder time landing power shots. Douglas will land. 1 point partially blocked. So back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. 61 is ring movement, so we are moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston. Takes control. 13 lands a punch. Liston will land. And 11 will be good for a 2-point jab. So Liston's on the board and in the lead on the round with 2 points. Back to Liston, who stays in control. 29 is going to land another punch, and he will land. 64 cut, so 64 is good for a 2-point combination. These cut checks are a lot more perilous for Douglas than they are for Liston, because Douglas is a 7, so he's 7 plus whatever the random number is on here. 24 is still no cut, so Douglas dodged a bullet. But Liston is back to it. He'll stay in control. 42 is going to miss a punch. Douglas cannot try to counterpunch. Back to Liston. Stays in control. 10, he's going to land a power shot. So now Douglas is a KD1 rating of 3 against a 2. So 2 against a 3. Another 4 points to Liston. Which brings Liston up to 8 points to 1 for Douglas on the round. Back to Liston for the next control check. Stays in control. 12 is going to land another punch, and he will land 1 point partially blocked of his own. So that'll bring Liston up to 9 points. Back over to Liston we go, who stays in control. 12 is going to land another punch, and he will land 60 will be good for a 3-point combination, which will bring Liston up to 12 points. Back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. Takes control. 31 is going to land a punch. He will land 30 cut. So 30 is going to be another 2-point hook, which will bring him up to 14 points. Then we have another cut check for Douglas, who's a 7 plus. 57 is a 64, which is major swelling under the right eye. Yikes. So major swelling under the right eye. Which means major swelling under right eye. So -2D. -2 punches landed. And +1 to cut rating. So now he's going to get cut a lot more easily So back to Liston we go. Oh, and that was worth 3 cut points. So we're back to Liston here. No control. Douglas. No control. All the deep ones are salivating over the blood. Liston stays in control. 77 is ring movement, so we are moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. No, he doesn't take control, actually. Liston. Takes control. 49 is a clinch. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. There's the end of the round. 14 points for Liston, 1 for Douglas. 80, 99. Douglas is still fatigued. Liston is down to 10 endurance for round 11. Let's see, by 13 points, high score wins 10-9. Liston is starting to take over this bout very, very slowly. Right, I forgot to note the win here. So Liston's won 6 rounds to Douglas's 4. Round 11 will be up next, and Liston will still be our aggressor. Liston sure looks like he's weathered the initial storm from Douglas. Liston's going to continue slugging, and there's the bell, so let's start round 11. Liston will be up with the first control check. He will start with control. .34 is going to miss a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas. takes control. 4 is going to... No, he's not going to land a power shot. He's fatigued, but that'll be good for a regular punch. 2 will be a 3-point jab. So Douglas gets on the board first with 3 points. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston takes control. 58 is a clinch. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 33 misses a punch, no counterpunch. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 17 is going to land a punch. And he will land. 31 is good for a 2-point hook. So that brings Douglas up to 5 points on the round. Back to Douglas. Stays in control. Foul. He's a B against... 55 minus 1 is 45, which will get waved off. Douglas, no control. Liston takes control. Foul of his own. He's a C against. 73 minus 10 is 63. He's getting warned for hitting below the belt with a low blow. Liston stays in control. 50 is a clinch. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 24 lands a punch. He will get on the board with 64, a 2-point combination. So Liston goes up to 2 points on the round. Back to Liston, who takes control, landing a power shot. KD of 3 against a 13. So a 13-3. 5H. So 5 points for Liston, and he gets the next control check. Actually, he goes straight to control. He's assumed to be in control, so he gets the next action check. 51 is a clinch. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. Foul. He's a B against a 46 minus 10 is 36. No foul. It gets waved off. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 63 is ring movement, so we're moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 72 is ring movement. We would be moving, staying in ring center, but that's the end of round 11. We are still, these two are still slugging it out. 7-5, 85, 06. Still very much fatigued. Liston took the fight on points, but let's see what the judges think. They're scoring it. High, low, even. So we've got an even round. All right, so 10-9, and a fully even round. So I'll get the decks reset, and we'll start round 12, where Liston will still be our aggressor. We're into round 12. Liston's going to continue to slug. There's the bell, and the crowd is buzzing for round 12. So Liston coming out of the gate with no control. Douglas takes control. 13 is going to be enough to land a punch. He will land. 33 is a 2-point hook. Douglas, no control. Liston takes control. Foul. He's a C against an 18 minus 10 is 8. That'll get waved off. Liston, no control. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 71 is ring movement, so we are moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 79 is ring movement, so we are moving to the near ropes. Which means Liston now needs a 9 to take control. So Liston takes control. 49 is a clinch. Liston stays in control. 54 is another clinch. Liston stays in control again. Special, okay. Let's see what we've got here. Just a brief pause. Back to Liston, who stays in control. 68 is ring movement, so we're moving. Back to ring center. That was dumb, Liston. And he will lose control because of it. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 7 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 1 point partially blocked. Back to Douglas we go. Stays in control. 27 is going to land a punch. He will land. Another 1 point partially blocked. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas, no control. Liston takes control. 8 is going to land a power shot. 3 against a 15. So 15 to a 3. 5 points for Liston. But more importantly, we get his full killer instinct. So his full killer instinct is 10 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 2 from the other deck, 9, 10. So Liston will take it away here. He will start off with 64 is ring movement, so we are moving. Staying in ring center. Next up, 70 is more ring movement. We're moving. Staying in ring center again. More ring movement. Liston really wants ring movement. I don't know why. He's staying in ring center. He's wasting an opportunity to finish this off. 21 will land a punch. He will land 32 will be a 2-point hook, so that'll bring him up to 7 points on the round. He really does not want to finish this fight, does he? 78 is ring movement. We would be moving to ring center, but that's the end of round 12. I can't believe we're still in this. Goodness gracious. All right, so 7 points for Liston, 4 for Douglas. And let's see what the judges say, because we only have a 3-point difference. The judges are scoring it. Even high. So Liston's taking another round. That's the win for Liston. So with that, I'll get the decks rebuilt. Then we'll be into round 13, where Liston will once again be our aggressor. We are into round 13. Liston is going to continue slugging. There's the bell. Let's start round 13. So Liston will come out of the gate with control, landing a power shot right away. So he's a 3 against. So Douglas is a 3 against a 20. Oh boy. 20 against a 3. We got to check for a knockout. Or check for a knockout here. So he scores 6 points on the first shot of the round. So 6 points. And now we're back into the knockout rating. So he's a 9. We've got to get a knockout rating from this deck against a knockout rating of a 9. 9 against a 9. No knockout, but he does get his full killer instinct. Yep. Alright, so that's a 10-point killer instinct right off the bat for Liston. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So first up for Liston, 38 is going to be a missed punch, no counterpunch possible. Next, 36, same thing as before. Next, 24, he's going to land a punch this time. He'll land 1 point partially blocked, so we'll go up to 7 points on the round. Next up for Liston, foul, which I don't check during killer instinct. 11 is going to be another landed punch just outside of power shot range. 27 is a 3-point hook, so Liston's up to 10 points right off the bat. We almost had a knockout there, though. 12 is going to be another landed punch. 31 is a 2-point hook, which brings Liston right up to 12 points. And 27 is going to be a landed punch, so we'll draw from this deck and we'll see what he lands. He lands 21 is another 3-point hook, so he's up to 15 points already coming out of that killer instinct. Control check for Liston again, who stays in control. 35 is a missed punch, no counterpunch. Back to Liston, who stays in control. This round is looking like all Liston so far. 76 is ring movement, so we're moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas gets his first control check of the round. He can't do anything with it, no control. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 44 is missed punch. Liston can try to counter punch, which he won't do. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 45 is a missed punch. Douglas can try to counter punch, which a 64 won't work for. Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. foul. Uh-oh, he's a B against a 75 minus 10 is 65. Don't lead with the head. Back to Douglas we go. No control, Liston. No control, Douglas. No control, Liston. No control, Douglas. No control, Liston. Takes control. Landing another power shot, a 3 against a 17. 17-3. We need to get another KD rating, 1 to 10, 6 points, knockdown and full killer instinct. Alright, so another KD rating here of a 1. So that means Liston will pick up another 6 points. Going up to 21 on the round. A knockdown. So Douglas got knocked down. And full killer instinct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once again, we need to be sensitive to the possibility of the round ending here. So first up for Liston on his killer instinct. 56 is a clinch. Next up, 70 is ring movement, so we're moving to the far ropes. All right, coming up next, 46 is a missed punch. Douglas can try to counter punch, which a 60 won't do. Back to Liston's killer instinct. 10 is going to be another power shot, though. KD rating of a 12 against a 3. 12 and a 3 is another 5 points. So this is 26 points for Liston. Oop. Okay, coming back to Liston. 69 is ring movement, so we're moving. Staying in ring center, and last card for Killer Instinct is going to be another punch landed, so Liston will pick up. 44 will be good for a 3-point hook, which will put him just short of a 1-round TKO, and that's the end of round 13. So 29-0. That round was a total drubbing. Let's see, 142, 89. Somehow Liston still has 1 point of fatigue left, and that high. Actually, 29. Yeah, he's going to run the round 10-7. That's a round 1 for Liston. We'll get the decks ready for round 14. Before Liston comes out slugging to start round 14, we have to make a couple of checks. So Douglas needs to check for carryover because he got knocked down he took a 1 count on a flash knockdown, but we got to check anyway. So let's see what we get here. A random number is what we're looking for. 25, no carryover. Then he's got to make a conditions check as well. Where was that table? I was looking at that. Okay, so he's a KO rating of a 3 right now. So we're going to check from this deck. Getting another random number. 10, no effect. Alright, so with that we're all set. Liston's going to slug, and we need to be careful of another 2-round 50-point TKO. But there's the bell, and let's start round 14. Liston will come out of the gate with no control. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 10 is going to land a punch. He will land. 33 will be good for a 2-point hook. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 80 is ring movement, so we're moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. Let's see what he's doing. 7 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 7 will be another 2-point jab. That'll bring him up to 4 points. Douglas will take control, will stay in control. 50 is a clinch. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas, no control. Liston, no control. Douglas takes control. 28 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 52 is a 2-point cross. So Douglas up to 6 points. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston will take control. 40 is a missed punch, no counter punch. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. 10 is going to land a power shot. Douglas is a 3 against a 5. 5 against a 3, 4 points to Liston. Mostly woke Douglas up on the round. So back to Liston we go, who stays in control. 73 is ring movement, so we're moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Liston. Takes control. Landing another power shot. He's a 3 against a 2. Another 4 points to Liston, so he's up to 8 points. Back to Liston. No control. Douglas takes control. 34 misses a punch, no counter punch. Douglas stays in control. 26 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 74 will be good for a 2-point uppercut. So we're even on the round at 8 all. Back to Douglas we go. Stays in control. 31 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston takes control. Special. Let's see what we've got here. Fighter in control hits on the break. No points are scored but opponent's endurance is immediately lowered by 4, except Douglas was already fatigued. On second time by the same fighter, +1 to warnings. Third time, the referee takes a point away. So nothing happens there. Last check would be Liston's. He would take control, but that's the end of the round. So we've got a dead even round, which means 10s all around. Let's see, 8 all. Still fatigued, and Liston is finally now fatigued as well. I will prepare the decks, and we'll be ready for round 15, another fight that's gone the distance. Liston's going to slug in round 15. Before we do that, Sonny Liston has finally been fatigued. So his control factor drops to a 7 against the boxer. Aggressiveness is still 8. Killer instinct is now only 8. Otherwise, no changes on his fatigue side. Some slight changes on his punch range. His power doesn't change, though. With that, we still need to be sensitive to a 3-round TKO. If he scores at least 23 points, he will win the fight on a TKO. He may be headed for victory anyway, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Anything can happen in round 15. So, there's the bell, and let's start round 15. So Liston is still our aggressor. He'll come out of the gate with control. Let's see what he's doing here. Foul. Still a C against a 69 minus 10 is 59. That'll get him warned for something, I think. Yep, don't lead with your head. Back to Liston we go. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Probably going to be doing a lot of pawing the air here. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. Takes no control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. 55 is a clinch. Douglas. Takes control. 17 is going to land a punch. He will land. 43 will be good for a 3-point cross. Back to Douglas we go. No control. Liston. Takes control. 37 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Liston. Stays in control. 63 is ring movement, so we are moving to the right neutral corner. Liston. No control. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. No, takes control, actually. He does. 13 is going to land a punch, and he will land. 57 is good for a 3-point combination, so Douglas up to 6 points. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. 35 is a missed punch, no counter punch. Back to Douglas. Takes control, or stays in control. 12 is going to land a punch, and that will be good for 1 point partially blocked. Back to Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. Takes control. 49 is a clinch. Douglas. Takes control. 79 is ring movement, so we are moving back to ring center. Douglas. No control. Liston. No control. Douglas. takes control, landing a power shot of his own. Liston is a 1 against whatever the KD rating on here is, a 15. 15-1. 5 points for Douglas, and he will get 5H, I believe, go straight to the action check. So that's up to 12 points for Douglas. And we get the next, and we go straight to the action check. So Douglas, 45 is missed punch. Liston can try to counter punch, which a 12 will do, so he will land. A 68 is good for a 2-point combination, but that's the end of round 15 and the end of the fight. So 2 points for Liston. He picked up something toward the end there, to 12 for Douglas. Let's see, 109. In a very even fight, surprisingly. By a 10-point differential, Douglas will pick up the round 10-9, but I don't think it's going to matter. Now with that, let's move over to my shoulder for final scoring. So out of 150 points, I'm going to try to do this a little bit easier. So we lost 1 here, 2, 1, so 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this card is going to be 141. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This card is going to be 139. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, another 139. So that's Douglas's cards done. Let's look at Liston. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 145. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another 145. Liston's already won the fight, and I think the decision's going to be unanimous. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3... Yeah, 4. So 146. So that'll be Liston over Douglas. Unanimous decision after round 15. So as we come to the brackets, we see that Sonny Liston has advanced, and Matthew will pick up a point in the tournament. I'll flash the updated standings up on the screen. We'll take a quick look at the brackets here, and we'll see that now Sonny Liston is going to advance to face off with Lennox Lewis in the quarterfinals. That's a 15-round bout. So that will do it for this bout in the Greatest Boxer Tournament for Title Bout II. This will probably be the last bout of the month. I don't think I'm going to try to get another bout in. But as far as what's coming up as scheduled on the channel, Wednesday we're playing Hornet Leader Carrier Air Operations from Danverson Games. That will also be the last video for the Ask Me Anything questions for August. So if you have anything you want to ask me for the end of August recap, get it into that video at the latest. I'll probably be doing the end of August recap on Thursday night. Then Sunday we'll be starting the fall campaign in Arkham Horror the card game, but I'll also have more details on that during the end of August recap. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.